Hello, happy morning, day, evening, depending on what time you're watching. I already see some of the comments. Let me actually put the information in the chat and I'm going to pin it. So welcome. If you're just randomly stumbling upon this video, I'm a professional astrologer. My name is Anastasia. I do readings, I teach classes. My predictive astrology course begins this Saturday. So highly recommend you come join us and study with us and learn how to use astrology to forecast the future. This is crazy bright. Let me figure out the brightness. 1 second. I see some of you asking how you can donate to get a reading. And I'm just I pinned the link in the description. It's in the description and it is in the pinned comment. Just 1 second. I'm trying to bring some of this brightness down so we can see me, but not too brightly. I actually have 2 people who donated last time as well. And sorry, I'm a little bit, I feel like Mercury in Pisces is making me jumpy all over the place. So, okay, so we're doing live readings today. People are asking how to go about it, what the process is. There's a link in the description. There's also a link in the pinned comment. In order to get on the list, I do ask for a donation. Suggested amount is $25. Please use the links provided in the description or in the comment because then they are more direct instead of paying through YouTube. That is more complicated process and it gets broken into chunks, so better the link. And then once you do that, I will need your birthday information, date, time, place of birth. You can share it in the comment section if you're okay with it being public. And your question, prioritize 1 question, please, because we are doing shorter readings. So 1 question per person. You can ask anything about your natal chart, love, relationships, career, money, children. We can talk about the transits. We can talk about what's coming up for you, other questions. So if you want your information to be private, you can email it to me at anastasia.does.astrology@gmail.com. And just put at the top of the email right away, say, please keep my information private so I know not to share your chart. We don't want accidentally to show things. And I do have 2 people that have sent the donation prior. So I see Joanna is here. She's on my list. Awesome. And I also have Ellen, but Ellen is golfing right now. Ellen sends me Venmos 3 times in a row, and she's out golfing. I don't know why I'm struggling to say golfing. I did light up my Mercury in Virgo 2 candle. So let's hope Mercury steps up and helps us out. But Joanna and Ellen are currently on the list. I think I just got another donation. I got Evelise. So adding you on my list as well. I will take, a more limited amount of people because I'm probably going to be live for like an hour and a half. So if you want to jump on, do that sooner than later. I see Monica. Been a minute. Good to see Monica in the list. Okay. So right now we have Joanna, Ellen, Evelise, and Monica. So let me just do my housekeeping real quick. I hope you're doing well. Are you feeling the retrograde? Are you feeling the brain fog that the retrograde brings with it? Okay, so I'm just gonna catch up on the comments that you left. Monkey Raiders says, thanks for taking your time for this live, Anastasia. You're welcome. Thank you for joining. Okay, Joanna is here. Thank you for the reminder. Eve, the Empress Oracle, asking how the process. I think I did address that. Hi, Julia. Hi, Yolette. Hi, Monica. Yes, do see that. Okay. Okay, Monica, I see your question. If you don't mind, just copy it and keep it close because I will be doing a couple of people before you just so I sort of, if I feel confused, I'm just warning people ahead of time because Mercury is retrograde and we're going to do our best, but keep your questions close. And if I need them again, just do let me know. Don't sort of hesitate to repeat them. Okay. So Bhavana is here. Hi. Bhavana is saying, how is the snow doing? It melted significantly, so we have like snow with patches in it. If it was a cat, you would say that the cat is very sick. It's like the fur of the snow has blotches, but overall it's pretty good. Okay, so Joanna, are you here with us? Joanna, I see you. And what is your take, Joanna, on me showing your chart? Like, I have your information from before. Would you rather it be private, or it's okay to share it? I am uploading, I just did a video on astrology of Wuthering Heights. So tomorrow I'm going to post my take on the astrology of Emily Bronte, Emerald Fennell, and all the drama behind Wuthering Heights. I'm pretty excited about it. It's been my guilty pleasure for the past few days to just sort of watch it and hear people talk about it. And I was like, why not take a look at it from the point of view of astrology? Okay, so I'm going to focus. Thank you for listening to me just chat. And just want to throw it out there. My predictive course begins on Saturday, on the day of Mercury Cazimi. Come join us. It's going to be fun. You will learn how to use solar returns, annual perfections, most importantly, transits to predict the future, to be able to forecast what's coming up for you, for people in your life, and maximize all the opportunities that astrology indicates are coming your way. Okay. So Joanna, do let me know if it's okay to share your chart publicly or not. And happy birthday. It is Joanna's birthday today. So I'm just putting the information into my system. Okay, Joanna says it's okay to share. Happy birthday. Birthday wishes are coming. Yay. I see a few of my future students in chat. How exciting. Bhavana is asking how many people are on the list. I have 4 right now. So, okay. So Joanna is okay with having her chart shared. And the question was, so you were wondering about a job change and possible relocation of living. Is relocation connected to work? Or are you kind of looking to relocate and find work in a different place? Or are the two separate? Let's take a look. Okay, so Joanna, I have Pisces Sun, Gemini Moon, Scorpio Rising for you. A Gemini Moon twin. Always fun to see another Gemini Moon in the chat. Okay. I am uploading a video, so I can't see the very bottom of your comments. So sometimes it takes like another comment for me to be able to see it. But okay, you're saying, I'm not sure. Can you see my message? I can see the comments you left. I don't know if there was something else that you said. Does this chart look correct? Pisces, Sun, Gemini, Moon, Scorpio rising? And so you're asking about a job opportunity. So there are a couple of things going on. We have, so you just turned 43, correct? 43. So we have 42, 43. 43 activates your 8th house year. So it could be an interesting year for like working with other people, handling financial matters, some kind of healing, some kind of introspection, perhaps exploring relationships with other people through the lens of spirituality, astrology, tarot. It's less about work, but could be connected, especially if you're getting interested in certain things like that. So what is your natal Mercury? Your natal Mercury is in Aquarius. We do have, so relocation wise, Jupiter, which is the planet of growth and expansion and opportunities, has been in your 9th house of travel since June 9th, 2025. It has been retrograde the last 4 months. It's going to go direct on March 10th. When Jupiter is in the 9th house, it tends to expand your vision of the world. It can expand your kind of mindset, new education, new ideas, new places of living can come into your life. And you're born with North Node in the 9th house too. So on many levels, you're kind of meant to find this balance of leaving the familiar, comfortable stomping ground behind and going in the direction of the unknown, going towards adventure. So I think that's, this Jupiter is probably urging you to go somewhere, to like maybe travel, to find new places. And I do wonder what was happening in your life about 12 years ago. So 2013, 2014, were you traveling? Were you exploring? Maybe did you go somewhere that you really liked? And is any of that coming back around for you right now? Okay, you're saying two different things, just need change. Bhavana says, I don't know if it's only for me, but the video is not that clear. It has lots of pixels. I don't know. Oh, you're turning 44. Okay. Sorry, forgive my math. 44 is the year of career. So Jupiter in travel still applies, but 44 does activate the year of career. I feel like Mercury retrograde is definitely creating mental fog for me. Thank you for correcting me. Yes. So 44. Okay. So as far as travel goes, right? All of the things I said are applying. Definitely look back at 12 years ago. And it could be a good time for travel and for relocation, for sure. You're also someone who's a Scorpio rising, born with Mars as a chart ruler in the 12th house. So already this to me says that part of your life path is 12th house topics. And 12th house topics are often living far away, going to faraway places, being like a new person in a new land, being alone on some level, not because you're like, I mean, there is probably some element of being a loner to you with your moon in the 8th house and your Mars in the 12th. Like you might enjoy a certain amount of solitude, but it also suggests that part of your kind of journey involves traveling to places where you might feel alone because it's a new place, right? Or because you're going on your own. So I do like this year for travel and for relocating. And then 44 is the year of the 9th house. So, okay, so 42, 43, 44. So now the 10th house, it is the year of the 9th house, which again puts us in this place of education and travel. And so in that regard, again, we're kind of in this place where your moon is active because the moon rules your 9th house. So there is still kind of connection to like maybe traveling, to heal oneself. Maybe, it's the ninth house year in which you're opening yourself up to new possibilities, but it's ruled by the moon in the eighth. So on some level, there may be some like new belief systems. There may be some healing of childhood wounds. With the moon, we're always thinking of like mothers, motherhood, women, childhood. And so maybe the travel is somehow connected to healing of the inner child. Oh, you're saying you're from Poland and living in the USA. Look at that. It's already very much applicable to you with being a Scorpio rising ruled by Mars in the 12th house. And so work-wise, we did just have Saturn and Neptune go into your 6th house. What was happening with your work life in 2025 between May 25th and September 1st? I'm going to turn the light on real quick, so just hold on one second. Okay. Yeah, so I do wonder what was happening 12 years ago, 2013, 2014. And what was happening last year in June, July, August professionally, because Saturn and Neptune are both in your 6th house. Saturn is for 13 years, Neptune the other way around. Saturn is for 2 years, Neptune is for 13 years. And together, they may create this sense of disappointment and disillusionment with the way work is. There may be some kind of sense that things maybe feel too mundane, too boring, or you're not doing things that matter to you because the ruler of your midheaven in the 5th house. And I think your work is meant to connect with your pleasures. It meant to maybe even involve children, teaching children, working with children, helping children somehow. And so Saturn, Neptune can show up that there's maybe some kind of dissatisfaction with your work life, but it can also encourage you to explore new paths, especially with Neptune. We're thinking of like giving, generous, helping people in need, working with people like in the healing, nutrition, exercise type of space. But reading, yes. Yeah, I think so, for sure. Okay, Yolette is on the list now as well. And then we have, so right now we have 5 people. So Bhavana, you can definitely get on the list. Joanna says a lot of stress. Okay, and so that's another thing, like Saturn, Neptune in the 6th house. That's why there might be this sense of like disappointment, disillusionment, because they will bring a lot of grinding, a lot of sort of whatever it might be. If you're building something, you're working on something, you're learning, you're maybe working on some kind of project, and so it may feel overwhelming. And it may feel a little bit difficult, and it may feel at times like you're pushing a boulder up the rock, a boulder up the mountain. I don't know what's going on with my words today. So it might feel challenging at times, and so together with that, I think it will show you what type of work is draining and then necessary, and then at the same time it's going to show you what type of work is meant to be more like fulfilling. So I think the work changes might happen, but I think they might come rather slowly because of the Saturnian delays. And for a while, you may feel like you're not getting rewarded for your work. And so seeking validation through other means, I think, will be significant here. Eve, the Empress Oracle, says, yes, it is glitching. Thought it was me. I switched devices to be sure. I'm not sure. I don't really Glitchy in what regard? Like the video itself or the audio or both? Joanna says, yes, that's what I want. Thank you so much. Yeah, with the midheaven being ruled by the sun in the fifth and north node being in the fifth house, a lot of it right now is, I think you're also letting go of south node in the 11th, and maybe expectations that the community places on you, your friends place on you, maybe even a certain image of being perfect, hardworking, being the one who always has the answers. And you're going in this north node in Pisces in the fifth house, and like finding ways to play more and finding ways to have balance and being more childlike and adventurous. And like, even, Jupiter rules your fifth house, so traveling and learning and kind of making sure that life is not just work. Eve the Empress Oracle says both, but Vicious Show says audio good, video is glitchy. I am not sure. If you have a lot of connected to your Wi-Fi while streaming, if you disconnect like your phone or one thing, it might, well, I can close, maybe I can close some, let me close some tabs and stuff. I am uploading a video, so that might be why, but it's almost done. It's almost done uploading, and it couldn't finish before I started the live. So, but I will close some tabs, so hopefully that helps. Okay, so yeah, so Joanna, you do have to be patient for sure. I just had Saturn in my sixth house, and it felt like 3 years of just work, work, work. But a lot of good things came out of it, and a lot of discipline came out of it. I haven't fully figured out how to unload some of the work off my plate, but it definitely, I think, encouraged some interesting developments. Okay, just a second. Vicious Show, Ingrid, right? Ingrid, I believe. You're saying that will help once it's done. Eve the Empress do gotta love technology just in case there was. Yeah, okay. What else can I close? I can probably close some other of my windows. As a Gemini moon, I always have probably like 60 tabs open. So, and then I'm like, why is my internet slow? Why are there glitches? What's going on? So, okay, closing more things. Okay, Ingrid. Yes, I thought it was Ingrid. I remember. Okay, so Joanna, thank you for taking us away, being the first one. Ellen is the other person who sent the donation, but I don't think she's watching live with us yet, so I might hold off on doing her reading until later. So Evalis is next. Is Eve the Empress Oracle? Are you Evalis? What is the proper way of saying it? How should I pronounce your name so I'm not butchering it? We can indeed just blame the retrograde. It's so strong. And I think for people with strong Virgo planets, like if you have a bunch of Virgo planets in your chart, your ascendant, your midheaven, it's going to affect you a lot. Even people with strong Gemini planets, because then you have Gemini and Virgo are both ruled by Mercury. So if Mercury is not doing well, then everything gets messed up. Mercury retrograde at it again. You're welcome, Joanna. Eve Elise. Elise? You're saying I get that question very often. It's a beautiful name, but I feel like it's... Do you go by Eve ever, or do you prefer Eve Elise? Eve Elise. Bhavana is asking, has it become better? The service after I closed a bunch of tabs? I hope so. Ingrid says, I'm a Virgo moon and Pisces sun, so this one hitting hard. Yeah, you got both of them activated, the Virgo and the Pisces by Mercury and by all the Pisces planets. You're saying Eve or Evie is fine. Okay, it's good to know. Good to know that there are other options. Okay, do I have your information? And if not, would you mind dropping it in the comments if you are okay with having your information public? Okay, Eve Lee says, thank you. I'm curious about improvements in finances and money matters. So on a fixed income right now, as I'm in grad school, so working is limited at the moment, but need a break. And the last sentence of your message is coming up right now. Okay, you're saying currently an unpaid intern. Oh, you're saying you've sent the information. Just a second. And is it okay to show it publicly? My Cash App balance right now is 111.11. Okay, you're saying it's okay to share. Thank you. Stop sharing for a second. I still have my Emily Bronte chart saved because of the video I was posting. Okay. Okay, so once again, you're saying, I'm curious about improvement in finances and money matters. On a fixed income, in grad school, working is limited, but need a break. Currently an unpaid intern. Is 111.11 means new beginnings? Monica is responsible for 0.11 in there, I think. And probably the rest of it too. A portion of it, obviously, too. Okay. So I'm going to share your chart momentarily. Have you guys seen Wuthering Heights? And if you did, what do you think about it? One, 111 is the new beginnings. Eve says we need to run it up and get you another one on there. I wouldn't mind 1,111.11 eventually, but I tend to withdraw it. If I just kept it there, it probably will get there much faster. 1111 is you are on the right path. I like it. Thank you so much for helping me interpret it. Okay, so sharing. I feel like we have a fun group of people here today. Everyone is friendly and fun. I mean, which is normally the case, but thinking extra nice today. Okay, so Leo sun, Capricorn moon, Cancer rising. Does that look correct? We have good vibes for sure. Ingrid says, yes, I love the vibe. Okay, so the chart is correct. And so you're talking about finances, right? So you are 35, and 35 is the year of the 12th house. So not necessarily, the 12th house doesn't necessarily make me think about money from the beginning, but it could be about spiritual understanding and inner work, and perhaps closing some chapters as you get ready for new beginnings. There will be in your house of money. So generally, you're born with the South Node and the Sun in your second house of finances, and your North Node is in the eighth house of other people's money and joint finances. And so your soul kind of has this. I mean, first of all, it's really nice to have the sun in its domicile in Leo in the second house of money. That's like a healthy sun to have in the financial sector. And I think making money through being visible, through kind of sharing your wisdom, through maybe even helping people, kind of shining light on things, could feature with the sun in the second house. But South Node suggests that you have. So on one hand, South Node suggests that you know how to make ends meet. When it's in the second house, it means you've spent multiple lifetimes, or even the first half of your life, you spend figuring out financial matters. You will know, you sort of know how to create financial stability for yourself. Maybe it's not necessarily abundance, but there will be a certain level of sort of financial stability. But the North Node in the eighth house really wants you to go in the direction of like emotional stability, and also allowing either other people to support you. There may be this sort of interesting karma around depending or relying on other people. And you will have to learn on one hand how to, like, especially with your nodal return coming up. We just had an eclipse in Aquarius on February 17th. Was it 17th? I believe it was. Actually, I have the 2026 spreadsheet open in front of me. February 17th, yes. So we just had an eclipse here, and this is a preview of your nodal return. The nodal return officially begins on July 26th, lasts for 18 months after that. And so there's this sort of interesting energy of, like, on one hand, disengaging from the outdated masks and perhaps presenting yourself a certain way, or feeling, like with South Node and Leo, there may be all these ways in which you get involved with other people and you really try to be your best self and you show up for them. Like maybe, even being an unpaid intern, like you show up and you give your best. But it's like not serving you somehow. So there may be questions of like investing into something or letting go of like outdated ways of dealing with finances and going in the direction of, like, do you find yourself in a position of like, do you find yourself taking care of other people, or do people take care of you? Okay, you're saying yes, I have some challenging aspects in opposition, love life, finances, always polar opposites. You're saying, yes, I'm looking forward to that nodal return and Jupiter return, hoping for some blessings. Yeah, Jupiter return is lovely. Even having Chiron Jupiter, this is kind of like you have a guardian angel. Even when things are terrible, there is always the silver lining. And when things are great, there's always some kind of pain that may come up with it, or healing or lesson that comes with it. You're saying I'm in mental health. So yes, I assume you take care of a lot of people. But that also suggests that you're tapping into your North Node and you're actually working on creating emotional stability in your life. And not only that, but you're helping other people create emotional stability in their life. So I think to me, North Node suggests needing to figure out how you can trust other people to help, like romantically and financially, how you can almost collaborate with other people, like money and stability can come from. It's North Node in the eighth is also a sign of like having to learn to be comfortable with discomfort, because eighth house is unpredictable, right? Like you can't really say that you have North Node in the eighth, and that means that you have to like trust everyone or relationship with other people will always work out. There's probably going to be a lot of lessons, but like North Node really wants you to come to this understanding that there's more to you than financial matters or relationship. Have kind of this soul within you and the core that cannot be disrupted by any sort of material disruptions. But all of that being said, I think Jupiter, when it goes into your second house of money from June 30 until July 26, 2027, I think that will be beneficial financially. However, of course, simultaneously, we're going to have South here. So it's going to be about, I think, focusing less on, like, it's not about having a ton of money. I think it's about doing work that is healing to other people and to you, work that stimulates and curiosity and your intellect and your desire to help humanity. And so there may also be some kind of sense of you having to let go of maybe the highest income, let go of some type of, even in like some money that you have saved up maybe in order to start a business or to put yourself into some kind of like go in the new direction. So it's like something will have to be released for new type of abundance to begin. What was your first nodal return like? 2008, 2009. Do you remember much about like what was happening with finances? Obviously, you would have only been like 18, 19, so probably nothing crazy. I mean, I don't know how much control you have over your finances how much control you had over your finances back then, but it might be interesting looking at that. You joined the military. Okay. And what was that? What did that mean? Okay, and your finances improved. Still don't see the last line of the comment. I see some of it, but I don't see all of it because of that video. It says it's okay. So you're saying your finances improved and were good then. That was 2008. Okay. So that's a positive sign. I think it might suggest that if you go into this, if you sort of find balance between your South Node on just having enough and your North yes and focusing on like humanitarian pursuits and exploring like taking risks professionally, emotionally, going in the direction that are altruistic and supportive of other people. The fact that you're working in mental health and you're a counselor in mental health, I think that makes a lot of sense. And you took a risk and you like joined the military, which is very much, I think, eighth house, going like doing something that's perhaps a lot of people were surprised by the fact that you did it. How long were you in the military? And do you see potentially any changes potentially that can come up in the future, like any type of, not military necessarily, but any types of like opportunities, because you're in mental health and you said right now you're doing an unpaid internship, like could there be some kind of, like, I don't know, being a mental health counselor in, like, with people with, like, in some, I don't know, in like a war zone, or with people that are have like PTSD, or working for a big hospital, or like some kind of, I don't know, some kind of like change that can help you stay on your path, but also maybe create more of that like community behind you. Okay, your sisters got out after deployment to Iraq. That is impressive. Look at that. Look at that. Leo sun going out there and leading the way. Okay, you're saying needed to hear that because I was wondering if this was the best career change. I feel like it is a good career. North Node in the 8th house. If you don't consciously go into uncomfortable places, if you don't consciously grow and face discomfort, it will find you. It will surprise you. It will throw, like, life will be shaking you if you're not aware of this type of energy that you have, because like either life keeps surprising you, or you take control and you try to understand things, and you try to work on your mental health and help other people. And even Chiron in the 1st house, that's such like a strong healer placement. Jupiter in Cancer, that exalted Jupiter in the 1st house, is a teacher and so generous, so like giving to other people. Okay, you're saying I'm wanting to work with veterans and single moms, and then you're saying, haha, makes sense. Okay, that's awesome. Well, I'm glad this was helpful. Good luck with your career path. Keep us posted on your return. Bhavana says your voice has been cracking and the video is still unclear. Can't really see. Yeah, it's Mercury, you guys. I don't know what to do. I mean, the video is still, it says 7 minutes left for it to finish uploading, so it's going to be done very soon. But that's the only thing that I'm thinking about that could be messing us up. Eve says, yes, thank you. I'll be back for another next time. Setting my notifications. Awesome. And if you're watching and if you want to come study astrology with me, we begin on March 7th. It's the level 2 class, Predictive Astrology. I also have opened up the enrollment for the natal chart astrology classes. Those begin in September. So consider studying with us. Okay. So Monica is next. I also have Ellen, Yolette, and Bhavana on the list. So Ellen, just waiting for you to join us. Gabrielle, hi. Thank you for joining. Bhavana said she bought both books that I recommended. Those are good books. Like when you start learning astrology using cookbooks, I think is the best way, because they tell you what each thing means. But then as you do more and you practice more, then you go off of the cookbooks. But cookbooks are great. And like I call them cookbooks because they give you recipes. They tell you like solar return sun in this house means blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I sent some book recommendations to my students. Claire is asking still room for one more. Yeah, but probably one more. Just one last one. I was about to put the list closed on the chat, so definitely can do one more, but then I'll close the list. Monica, could you share your chart information again? I'm going to check because I may have saved it. I probably would have saved it. Bhavana says they will arrive later than the course starts, though. Still excited. Yeah, if any of you guys are interested in the books that are good for predictive astrology and that are good for my upcoming class, there are two. There's Planets in Transit, Rob Hand. Rob Hand is like the master of astrological book writing, and he's got Mars he's got Mercury in Sagittarius. And, we talk as astrologers, we talk about like Mercury being in its detriment in Sagittarius. And there are definitely some challenges with Mercury in Sag, but boy, can people with Mercury in Sag or Mercury in Pisces write big books. And then another book is Planets and Solar, written by Mary Fortier Shea. So those are good. Those are both good if you're planning to join my class, and good to learn about predictive astrology. Okay, Claire, I see your payment. Let me officially close the list. Carrie Harder says, wasn't sure how to sign up. So there is, I just closed the list. So I think for today, I'm going to just wrap up the people I already have on the list. But there is usually information in the description. And the way it works is you send the donation through the links and then share your birthday info and the question. Okay, Monica, thank you for sharing your information. I probably do have it, but it really is good to like just share it again. I definitely can picture your chart. Scorpio, rising, Taurus, Sun, Gemini, Venus, right? Those I remember very well. Scorpio moon, Taurus sun. Monica is the OG of my live reading. Oh, and Jupiter in Virgo, let's not forget. And Mars in Leo. It's all coming to me. Okay. I haven't even pulled the chart yet. I'm just being Gemini moon about it. And is it okay to share it publicly, even though I just screamed all of your placements? So I basically already shared it publicly. Eve the Empress Oracle says, many blessings to everyone for the eclipse tomorrow. Much love, Anastasia. Yes, happy eclipse tomorrow. Take good care of yourself. Eat well. Virgo rules digestion, so there could be digestion issues. Drink a lot of water. Speaking of which, to you, cheers. Bhavana says, you mentioned Robert Hand already in the last course. Is this the book with lots of pages? Was. I don't know. I may have mentioned him, but maybe a different book. But I have this book. I think there may be a couple of others that he wrote, but this is like, I think it's the book lots and lots of astrologers use. Maybe it was something else. Cheers. Are you guys sipping on your water too? Okay. So Monica's chart is pulled up, ready to go. I think you just said that it's okay to share it. And Monica says, I'd like a love forecast for major transits for this following months. Things are intense, got a passionate poly relationship with a Capricorn man, and that end is great, but feels chaos surrounding us. Capricorn may have to move because of his family and a job offer his nesting partner has. We have talked about me moving with him, but wondering what is coming up in love for the next month. Is it the guy that you met a couple of months ago that you mentioned? Yolette says, my MIL? What is MIL? Is a Virgo and was in a hospital last week with gastro issues. Interesting. Yeah, like Virgo and stomach, belly issues. It's just, oh, mother-in-law. Thank you. I didn't know. That's the new one for me. Okay, Monica says, yep, that one. The non-traditional relationship that Uranus wanted me to lean into. Okay, let's take a look. So, looking at this month. How far is he moving? Would you still be able to be at your job, or would that require you like switching jobs completely? Is it possible to do long distance with him? It's a new relationship, right? It's a pretty new relationship. Okay. Did the quality improve, by the way? The upload finally finished. You're saying would be across the state. We have talked about long distance until I'm financially able to move. The video is clear. I think that video uploaded finally. Yeah. Yeah, I think that was not a good idea on my part, so I apologize, but I did start it ahead of the live and I felt really bad to just cancel it because these take some time forever. Okay. So, Monica, this is you, and we're looking at love for the next month. So, it's interesting because the Uranus transit is wrapping up, and we've talked about Uranus in these readings for a while. It's been in your 7th house of relationships since 2018, and Uranus opens things up, right? Encourages unique ways of dating, brings unique experiences, often just flips things out on its head. I sometimes think of Uranian symbol as like a little kid standing on his or her head. And so it's interesting that you've discovered this new kind of relationship, and that could have been the final potentially lesson of Uranus and opportunity to do things very differently. So Venus has been in your 5th house. She's in your 5th house until March 6th. And she's actually sextiling Uranus on Thursday. So that is, I think, an opportunity for some like new development in a relationship. And it can definitely be like, let's try to do things in a fun, unorthodox kind of way, but it's enjoyable and it's good for problem solving, I think, in relationships. It's also good for attracting unique people, attracting unique situations. So until March 6th, love matters are pretty good. Between March 6th and March 30th, we're going to have Venus in Aries, and she rules your house of relationships. So I'm keen on looking at Venus because whatever Venus is doing, technically the partner is doing, or the Venus is conditioned why it might affect your romantic interest person. And so Venus will be in her detriment between March 6th and March 30th. So 3 weeks and some change. And so when she's in the sign of her detriment and she's in her 6th house, that might suggest that either this is the time when the Capricorn guy is actively moving and there is not a ton of time for like fun and pleasure. It can also suggest that for those 3 weeks and change, right? What is it? 24 days, right? You might be, it kind of will be about showing love in very practical ways and showing affection by just being there for him and maybe focusing on yourself a little bit. Venus, when she comes into Aries, so on the 6th, 7th, 8th, she's going to be conjoining Neptune and Saturn. So she has a bit of a rough energy to deal with in the beginning. And so the end of this week might have this a bit of like confusing, uncertain roadblocks, obstacles, delays, and challenges energy. So be ready for that. Be ready that the answers might not be coming immediately. But then around like the 9th of the month, she's going to sextile Pluto. And maybe you are moving through the obstacle and figuring out a solution, especially because it's a sextile to Pluto. It can involve you moving. Pluto being in your 4th house for like 20 years is often a sign of home, family, and foundations transforming significantly. I've had Pluto in my 4th house from 2008 until 2023, 24, and I've moved so many times throughout that period and dealt with all kinds of family foundations, living situation things. So Pluto might also be wanting you to reinvent your foundation. So then the Venus will be done with her sign of detriment on March 30th. And she's going to go into Taurus. And in Taurus, she's in her domicile, she's in her home sign. And if there is any, I think if there are any sort of uncertainty, ambiguity in regards to where the relationship is going, by the time Venus enters Taurus in April, late March, April, that is probably when things will start to feel more easy and more harmonious. It's so interesting that the person, like nesting partner, is that his partner that he lives in with? Like, is it sort of he's in an open relationship with you, but nesting partner is like the home partner? You're saying it might be when he finds out if the move is happening or not. So far, his nesting partner had an interview but hasn't heard back yet. You're saying last time I lived away from home was back in 2003. Right. Yeah. So okay. So maybe that's what that means. Because Pluto in the 4th definitely is the time to move. And then Jupiter is in your 9th. It can also encourage change in regards to your living situation. Okay, you're saying nesting partner is his wife, but she's poly too. Eve the Empress Oracle says we would still watch it if it was a stick figure. LOL. You guys are so funny. Yeah, Monica, I think those are the main things. Obviously, when Uranus leaves your 7th house on the 25th of April, that is the end of the relationship shakeups, and that might be the time when things begin to stabilize significantly. And then just judging by the upcoming eclipses too, I see you potentially letting go of the work situation you have right now and changing your living situation with North Node going into your 4th house. So that's what I'm seeing. And yeah, be ready for everyone pretty much that the end of this week may have kind of like, oh, I want to do this. I feel ready for it. I'm excited about it. But Saturn brings a roadblock. Neptune brings some kind of disillusionment, confusion. And so on many levels for different people, there may be some. And like for you, Monica, the Saturn Neptune energy is also in the house of work. So there may be some kind of sense that like you want to move forward with a relationship, but there is some type of obstacle that involves money, that involves work, that involves health, that involves people that rely on you, where it's not even about the relationship going through a tough period. It's more about like practical everyday life obstacles that you have to clear before you move forward. So that's what I'm seeing. You're saying so far as my only roadblock is financial, but I won't be clear of that till 2028. That is, that is a roadblock for sure. So stick through it. stay hopeful. It's gonna be okay. And thank you for coming back to our neck of the woods and for getting a reading and for the donation. Okay, So the list as it stands right now: Ellen, Yolette, Bhavana, and Claire. I don't think Ellen is here yet. But Yolette, if you are, you can be next. I'm mentioning Ellen because she sent the donation before the live. So she's, oh, there she is. Okay, Ellen, there you are. Bhavana is asking, did you light up 2 candles? Which ones are they? Yes, I have Mercury. I can't point to it. I have Mercury in Virgo, which is always, I've been sneaking them out of my supply boxes. I was like, I'm just gonna I love that candle during the retrograde so much. And I also have Mars in Scorpio, because Mars in Scorpio rules my second house of money and values. And so it's kind of nice to light up the candle of the mind and the candle that's responsible for finances, since that's part of kind of the job. And Scorpio is also very strategic, very good, and very kind of determined and persevering and focused. So I like that idea. Okay, Yolette. So I'll do Ellen and then your reading, because Ellen just got on the list ahead of you. So just bear with me. Thank you everyone for being patient as I slowly but surely get through my list. So Ellen, you mentioned when you sent the Venmo, you mentioned that you wanted a general reading. Could you clarify anything specific? Do you want me to look at your natal chart and tell you what I think stands out to me? Or is there anything else? Okay, Monica says we're both pretty committed to getting through the distance. That could be also your Uranian experience, Monica. It can also be well, let's do this, but let's try long distance and let's see how relationships that don't need to conform to anyone's idea of what they should be. Pavana says, oh, nice. Yes, girl. I feel like we're all cheering each other on. That's awesome. Okay, so Ellen says natal, and Ellen has also given me a permission to share her chart, and so I already have it pulled up. Let's see. How was golfing, Ellen? Did you hit all the holes? all the golfing March benchmarks? Okay, and so double checking: Aries Sun, Cancer Moon, Leo Rising, correct? I've seen your chart before, so it all looks familiar to me. Sometimes we have a little bit of delay. You're saying I played pretty well. Wouldn't expect nothing less. Okay, Claire says I didn't put a question on my PayPal. Looking for career, family, whatever stands out. Welcome to share. Okay, Ellen. So what am I seeing in your chart? So you are a Leo rising, ruled by the sun in Aries. The sun loves being in the 9th house. I'm using whole sign house system, which is a more traditional house system. In Placidus, your sun might actually be in the 8th house, but in whole sign house system, it's in the 9th house. The sun is exalted in Aries. The sun is in its joy in the 9th house, because 9th house is the place of journeys, and it's the place of going on quests and learning and questioning. And the sun is exalted in Aries because Aries is the beginning of spring. And if the sun rules Leo, in Leo, we are in the middle of summer, and it's kind of like scorching heat, and it's obviously very strong sun, but in Aries, it's this welcome sunlight of the spring. And so Aries often has this sort of beginner mindset. It's curious, it's adventurous, it's brave. So when you have the sun in Aries and it's in the 9th house, it definitely speaks to me that you are this person that's always growing, always learning, always open to discovering more. And the fact that I think this is our 3rd reading in a row, right? In 3 weeks, you're what is this astrology thing? And last week I was telling you that maybe one day you'd study with me, and you were yes. And with Aries also comes this sort of enthusiasm of spring, new beginnings, the sun is coming, right? There's like a lot of excitement there. And you do, of course, also have Chiron and Aries. So there might be this inner vulnerability that you sometimes maybe try to hide and act like you're impenetrable and you're so brave and courageous. But like Chiron also suggests that there's like tenderness and sensitivity, and Saturn would bring certain like harsh lessons. And to me, all of this also like raises a question of like, what type of person is your father, or what type of person was your father? Because you have like the sun in this ninth house, like the father who maybe was connected to travel, maybe was very interested in writing, maybe had some kind of like militant quality to him. But also someone who's like very like disciplinarian and very tough. You're saying your father traveled a lot and he was an Aries also. Did he speak multiple languages? Do you speak multiple languages? Antonio is asking if I would do his chart. I wrapped up for the day. I have a few people left, but I'm not taking any new people. So perhaps next Monday, I'm doing these pretty much every Monday at 5 p.m. Eastern time zone. You're saying he didn't speak a foreign language. Do you? Or are you interested in learning a foreign language? So, and then your ninth house is ruled by Mars in the fifth. So there's also, I think, like you like learning about things that are pleasurable. So with the fifth house, that would be golfing. That would be maybe like you. I also see you as like a very athletic person, because Mars in the fifth can be a sign of someone who's like very competitive, with Aries too, right? Competitive, playful. Mars in the fifth it brings a lot of energy. It can also suggest that maybe like you can sometimes burn your energy on like romantic dramas, which could be maybe a bit of a challenge. And your Venus in Aries is an interesting character in your chart, because she's very much aligned with all of this Aries energy. Like you're probably someone who loves foreign people, loves travel, loves dating foreign people. But there could be Venus conjunct Saturn, right? Like definitely suggests a certain karma around relationships, around dating people or being with people that feel oppressive or feel like they're trying to maybe control your independence somehow. Like Aries often has to assert itself in like to sort of contrary to people trying to like repress you or suppress you. So with Venus, there could have been like romantically some difficult experiences. And so there's a lot of, I think, like romantic lessons here that are very much connected to like allowing yourself that freedom, bringing a lot of self-love. What is your love life like? Has there been any sort of, like, I can see you, Saturn rules your seventh house of relationships and it's in the ninth house. Like I can definitely see you dating like youthful people, militant people, maybe similar to your father kind of people. You're saying I have a significant other for 20 years now. Is your significant other also someone like adventurous and well-traveled? Do they have a youthful spirit? You're saying yes. Antonio says, "Спасибо, пожалуйста." Do you speak Russian? Hi, Ms. Milano. Not today. I did wrap up because I still have like 3 people left, I think. So I'm trying to get through people on the list right now. Maybe next week. It's always around the same time. You're saying older, Ellen, but probably still you're saying he's more Saturn-like. But does he have still that sort of like competitive, adventurous, love to travel, love to learn spirit? Although Saturn sounds maybe someone who's more stern, maybe a little bit like dogmatic or sure of his opinions. You're saying yes, competitive. Eve the Empress Oracle says, this was my first time able to tune live. So you do readings every Monday at 5 p.m. Eastern. Pretty much, yes. I've been doing it every Monday unless something comes up and I can't do it that Monday. Ellen says heavy. Yeah, it's like Saturn in the 9th house also, because it rules the house of relationships. I think it's going to bring this like relationship karma connected to people who maybe have like I think generally when you have Saturn in the 9th, there is a certain pressure on you to figure out your own belief system, and you may meet people like as a kid, you know, growing up in a very religious environment can be seen with this sometimes, or growing up with people who like are very assertive and very sort of domineering, and so part of your karmic journey is learning like what you believe in instead of just following someone else's way of being, which I think again like I have a friend who's got Saturn in Aries since she grew up Muslim, and I wouldn't be surprised, she's, you know, she's same Saturn as you, but she's born in 98, so a cycle later. And so like I wouldn't be surprised with Saturn in the 9th house with like people who go through change in their belief system, and like they leave their old ideals behind and discover sort of new ways of thinking, and almost like maybe even become people who like guide others or encourage the freedom of thought for other people. Okay, that's kind of my, I guess, more general what I think, some of the things I think about your chart. Yeah, it's like so crazy that you have so much in the 9th house. And then you also have this like Aries Libra opposition. So very strong push and pull together. And then you add the moon in Cancer. Kind of this just do it, just go for it. No, let's focus on relationship. But also I don't feel like it. 3 voices speaking at once, and the Capricorn portion is missing. And so Capricorn is this like, how can you build stronger boundaries? How can you be strategic about things? How can you maybe be more grounded as well? Do you like earth people? Do you have a lot of earth people in your life, Ellen? And do you find like walking barefoot, hugging trees, do you feel that relaxing at all? Because that could be a good way to balance all of your fire, air, water. Your partner is an Aries also? Is your significant other similar to your father at all? Okay, you're saying yes to all of those. Okay, Yolette, and then Bhavana, and then Claire. We're getting to you guys. Crystals too. Love crystals. So grounding, says Eve the Empress Oracle. Eve Elise. I need to practice. Ellen says similar to your father. Okay. Yeah. So it's, you know, it's like the good with the bad, the good with the challenging that can pop up here. Thank you for saying it was perfect. Yeah, I'm probably gonna jump around as a Gemini moon. I'll go. You gave me the permission to go with Eve, so I might go with Eve sometimes. Eve Elise. It's a beautiful name. Okay, Yolette, Bhavana, and but I guess Yolette is first. Yolette, are you here? Okay. Let me see. I have Yolette's information. Okay, you're saying reading is for the husband, no need to share his information. Is he watching as well? Did he give you, like, is he okay with us looking at his chart? Because normally I'd like to have like consent from the person I'm looking at, especially if they are adult. Okay, you're saying yes, he's worried about losing his job. Okay. What is his name, if you don't mind sharing? Or I can just call him Yolette's husband. Or I can just call him husband. Okay, so you're saying no need to share his information, so we're not going to share. I have Aquarius Sun, Cancer Moon, Scorpio Rising. Is that correct? And if you could repeat the question as well. I mean, you're saying he's worried about losing his job. If there's anything you want to share, let me know. Otherwise, I'm just scrolling up to see if there's any comments from you, but there's so many comments, I can't guarantee I'm going to see it. So I might definitely, if you have anything else to share, please do. Bhavana says there were a few Scorpio risings today. Yeah, and how appropriate for a Scorpio rising to be like, no, don't share my information. Privacy is the most important thing. Okay, you're saying he wants to know if he'll lose his job. He's been dealing with work and health issues for the past couple of years, it seems like. He wants to know if he'll lose his job. So we can actually potentially ask a horary. Let's see. Will the husband lose his job? Does he want to keep the job? Hi, Jekyll 6257. Virgo risings in the house. Woo woo. Yeah, does he want to keep the job? Is he happy with the job is the question, I guess. So I'm going to pull up a horary just out of curiosity. Okay, you're saying he wants to start his own business but not ready to leave. So just a couple of things. I am going to share the horary chart. It doesn't have any of his information. It's literally the chart that for the present moment, and that's how horary charts are done. You're just asking, you're like looking at the astrology at the sky right now and determining if there's anything in the skies that is telling us anything exciting presently. So we are going to look at that. Just a second. And it might not tell me anything, and I might have to look at some other charts, but I just want to do it so, so it's there. Okay, so there's a lot in here. Don't necessarily worry about it. Um, so the husband will be first house as always. First house is always the person we're asking the question about. Mercury is his ruling planet. It's in the seventh house. It's not in the best condition, so that's probably a sign of him being worried and sort of not feeling kind of the best in terms of like being happy and comfortable. The ruler of the house of the job is also Mercury, and that's where this chart is a little bit hard to diagnose, because basically him and the job are the same. The only way I would consider looking at it is as, I think if he's not happy with the job, if he is ready to sort of make a change, then it will happen. But if he still wants to stay at that job, then potentially I feel like there's definitely a sense of like he's got kind of carte blanche in regards of like deciding what will happen. Jupiter is in the 10th house of career. He's ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if there's a lot I can potentially tell from this chart, but I don't think it looks, I mean, I think it looks like he's kind of in this maybe transitional place, and Mercury is about to retrograde in the 6th house from the 7th. So Mercury is actually moving backwards, and it's about to go into the 6th house, which might suggest, it might suggest that there's going to be some kind of a shift where work is going to get very difficult and complicated and like frustrating potentially. So there may be some, it's almost like the question will be like, is it worth to be doing this job, or is it worth to take a leap and go for like something better? So I'm going to look at the transits real quick to see if there's anything that's jumping at me. I think one way or the other, Saturn just went into his 6th house and Neptune went into his 6th house. And what the two bring up, as I mentioned for other Scorpio risings, the two may bring up this sense of dissatisfaction if the work feels if it feels that it doesn't satisfy you. And what Saturn and Neptune also offer for every Scorpio rising right now, it offers like a clean slate. It offers an opportunity to like leave something behind and begin again, because both of these planets are still very much at 1 degree Aries. So they introduce new beginnings, and the new beginnings they will come with a lot of work. So whether he chooses to stay at his existing job and deal with frustration and deal with like accumulating stress, because it's likely going to continue being frustrating. I don't think work is going to magically become like easy, or he wants to redirect this energy and take it towards starting his own business. That is something that's up to him. But I personally would use my energy towards like starting my business and doing something that I love doing, instead of like slaving away at a job that doesn't make me happy. But that's my personal opinion. He's got the ruler of the house of career. Um, the ruler of his house of career is his sun in Aquarius, and the sun is not the happiest in Aquarius, because Aquarius is the sign of community and everyone getting along, and it's like very much focused on the other. And so it's harder to know how to lead or how to ask for what you want. With the sun in Aquarius, so I would recommend Aries candles for that. Like I have Exalted Sun, or maybe even sunlight in a jar, 2 or 3 could be good for him. And other than that, there is like planetary remediation things he can do. Sunday is the day of the sun. So taking a leadership course can be really beneficial for his career. Going in the sun on Sundays, hanging out with Leos, but also finding opportunities to kind of learn how to be a leader more, or how to start a business. That could also be a good way to use that energy. And yeah, I would highly recommend the sunlight in a jar. I have one here because this is the sun in Leo. It falls in his 10th house of career, and it captures this like bright and leadership, attention grabbing energy. And Aquariuses can, like, they're not very comfortable with being the center of attention, but sometimes you need that. Bhavana is asking, is that for every aqua sun? So the sun is in its detriment for every aqua sun, but it will show up in the Leo house the most. Yolette says, I'm a Leo rising and sun. Look at that. He's getting some solar energy from you. He should just hug you all the time. Just be like, come here, my Leo sun. But yeah, Bhavana, on some level, it is for every Aquarius sun. But planets in their like full or detriment are not necessarily, always like bad. It's just they require more attention to them, and they require some sort of TLC usually. Yolad is laughing smileys are coming. Yeah, you're his Leo remedy. He needs to hang out with you all the time. Sun and rulership, very good. You guys, another reminder that my predictive class starts on Saturday. We're going to learn how to use annual perfection, solar returns, transits, all of that to forecast the future, which is, I think, what most people want to know. Always with astrology, it's always like what's coming up. So if you want to be the person with the sacred knowledge of the planets, come join us. And if you want to start at the beginner level in September, I will be doing a natal chart class. So come study. Okay, Bhavana, I think you're next. And Yolette, I hope this provides some guidance for your husband. Bhavana, what is your question? And also, is it okay to share your chart, or would you rather I keep it private? So right now it's Bhavana and Claire. You're welcome, Yolette. Okay, Bhavana says I can share her chart. My question would be, I would like to know what March is bringing for me, love, career, money, or whatever. And 2, I would like to know whether this company that I went to the second interview on Wednesday, I'm going there for a half day to see how they work. Will I get this job? If yes, will they give me the salary I asked? So some of it I might not be able to answer because, I would consider pulling a horary, but we just pulled a horary about a job and it wasn't super conclusive. So I feel like if if in the future you want me to look at your horary, we can do like a follow-up. I can just pull it up. You don't need to send me a donation. You just mention it to me on Instagram, like at some point, and I can pull it again and see if horary tells me. But I can definitely take a look at like what's coming up and when might be professional opportunities, I think. Jekyll says, I'm gonna get the natal course in September. Yeah, definitely come and join, especially like if you want to start at the beginning. Natal course is where you should start, but predictive course is more for people who already know the basics of planets, zodiac signs, aspects, and houses. Okay, so let's take a look. I mean, maybe I'll see something about this job just from looking at your chart. But yeah, I feel like, anytime it's like specific, will I get this job? That sounds like a horary question, because it's like very much natal chart, and transits will tell you when there are windows of opportunity, but horary is more like is this job, is this person, is this situation? It's kind of more precise, I think. And I want to mention again that you guys have been a delight tonight. So patient with my technical glitches and my Mercury retrograde. And so good at cheering each other on. I love it. Okay, Bhavana. So yeah, let's see. So what's coming up in March, love, career, money, or whatever. And we'll probably focus a lot on work. Okay, so there's a lot going on in your first house of identity. Mercury is retrograding right over your ascendant. So a lot of questions around health, identity, style, health, like skincare, image, wardrobe. Mercury can be bringing up a lot of these, like even, these jobs, you're kind of looking at them and maybe you're looking at them in regards to like which one fits you the most. And so with Mercury retrograde, it could be this kind of good time to meditate on how you see yourself and like what would you like to be known for, and kind of like ask good questions, deep questions. I like that Mars finally left your 12th house and went into Pisces today. So that's also a sign of you're hopefully soon going to start to feel more energetic and more, and like, Mars in the first house also brings like action, I think, more like forward momentum with things. Venus is about to transition into your second house on the 6th of March. So that could be a good time to potentially start looking at the salary questions and like start negotiating them. Not off the bat. I think when Venus goes into Aries on like 7th, 8th, even 9th of March, she is dealing with Saturn and Neptune. So you may have to make some compromises. Like it's, in terms of finances, there may be some type of like, you get a salary, it's not exactly as you'd like it to be, but it's a decent salary. So especially as Venus goes to sextile Pluto on like the 10th, 9th, 10th, which is Monday, Tuesday next week, that could be the time of maybe having some conversations around money. And if not, when Sun makes the same aspects later in the month, around 23rd of March, because the Sun is also going to go into your house of finances starting on March 20th, I believe. Maybe a little later in the day. And Sun is exalted in Aries. Sun is quite powerful in Aries. And so, like, I feel like because Mercury is retrograde until the 20th of March, and Jupiter, your chart ruler, is retrograde until the 10th of March, there might still be a lot of uncertainty early on. And because you're looking at these two jobs, when Mercury is retrograding, like let's say you make one decision, there might also be some type of like switcheroo or part 3 to your decision when Mercury goes direct. I do like, there's definitely some like lovely dates this month to have these conversations about work potentially. So on the 5th, we have the Sun trining Jupiter. Always give it like 3 days on each side, 3 days before, 3 days after. We have Mercury Cazimi on the 7th of March. We have Mercury trine Jupiter on March 9th, which is always a sign of like optimism, good news, good time to like have important conversations, good time for business dealings. So if you're looking for like good opportunities to ask for what you want, to ask, let's say, for better finances, better compensation, maybe March 9th again, coming back to Monday, Tuesday next week could be powerful for that. So I'm also going to take a look if there's anything in regards to like personal transits, because right now I've mostly been talking about like general type of developments. I want to see if something exciting is happening. Yeah, ninth, again, on the 9th of March, the sun is conjoining your ascendant, which could be a sign of some type of like opportunity to be more visible, opportunity to like get attention for something that you want to get attention for. So maybe professionally, if that's what you're seeking. Okay, just one moment. I just want to narrow things down for myself. I feel like I was looking at too many things from March. I want to look at the outer planets and what they're doing. So Uranus is squaring your moon for the last time. And we've had Uranus square your moon on June 6th, a month before, a month after, May, June, and then again on December 15th. So from November 15th until January 15th. Were there any like disruptions? Were there any sort of shakeups and surprising developments around that time? Maybe things involving your mom? Because there will be one last one. And in a way, when it's the last square, it can also suggest that you've learned how to handle it and you're not necessarily going to be stressed out by it. But there might be some type of like surprises or things you have to adjust to, or some kind of opportunities to like break away from outdated patterns, relationships. It could really just be about maybe some kind of tough conversation with your mom. Okay, Bhavana says, that's funny. Today I did ask a few deep questions like you mentioned. You're saying I can imagine that next week, Monday, there might be a decision if it's a yes or not. Yeah, like, and it could be a good time to ask for just, it doesn't hurt to ask for what you want financially and see how that goes. But there are also, a couple of supportive aspects. Chiron is trining your midheaven from Aries to your midheaven, and that could be perhaps an opportunity to use your healing gifts to open yourself to some spiritual dimension. Which, I mean, you're joining my class, so there's definitely some some studies that can be like healing and can open new paths for the future. So that is exciting, and that was happening in your life in October, which is when you were studying with my first class. So that's coming up. And Saturn is also trining your Chiron, so there's a lot of sort of Chiron. And it's interesting to me because I wonder if this is like, if whatever job you find will allow you to like express your healing gifts through it and express your wisdom and maybe even do work that helps other people. Have you thought, Bhavana, of like giving astrology readings to people or just practicing? Because that could be something to explore this month. Also, I wonder if Claire is still with us, if she's still watching, because Claire, you're next. Our final, most patient, Claire. Bhavana says, if I take this job, I will have some time and I could do more spiritual stuff. That's good. So again, I'm thinking maybe there's some kind of compromise, right? Like you don't get the best salary, but this job allows you to have some free time to get aligned with your spiritual values and to invest in things that can maybe turn into a source of income in the future. And I think on March 10th, when Jupiter goes direct, and then on the 20th, when Mercury goes direct, like Jupiter going direct is really great because it's your chart ruler, it's in the sign of its exaltation, it's very much guiding you in that direction of like having fun and doing pleasurable things and exploring what makes you happy and what sort of stimulates that childlike wonder in you. And Mercury, and yeah, even Mercury being in the same sign as your natal Mercury, all of that is these like opportunities to talk about things. And you just turned 34, correct? So 33, 34, you are right now in your 11th house year, which is the year of friendships, building a community. Take a look at 12 years ago, Bhavana, what was happening in your life when you were 22. So 2014, in terms of friendships, it could also be the year in which you are meeting a bunch of new people because you're starting a new job, potentially a job, or potentially people from a different town because the job is maybe in a different town. So there could be some kind of like expansion of your friendship circle with people from other places. And then Venus is here and she rules your third house. So commutes, right? Short trips, traveling, and eighth house. So money of other people, investments, finances, paying off debts, all of that I think could be significant. So that's what Jekyll says, I can't wait to get the retrograde over. My Mercury's trash being in Pisces. I was like, I feel like starting this live today, it took me like 30 minutes to start communicating without pausing. And you're saying the company, Bhavana says the company is just the next village from where I live, but that still inspires some short travels. And there are not many people in there, but it's still new people. But think back on 2014, like what was happening with trips and friends and planning and stuff like that. You're saying the boss seems to be interesting. That's good. Okay, Claire is here. I see Claire. Claire, did you send your birthday information? I see it. And could you share your question? And share your question, please, and tell me if it's okay to share your information or you want it to be kept private. Either is perfectly okay with me. And good luck with the new job, Bhavana. I hope it all works out and it gives you some time to do fun things and that the salary is to your liking. Good luck. Bhavana says, yeah, 2014 was with short trips with friends, earning a bit better than before. And friends was like, we got close, and some bad stuff also happened, and also some life-changing thing. Okay. So maybe there's some similar things, but better things, but it could be a bit mixed up always. Bhavana says, thank you. Hope it will be the job I like. And thank you for the reading. You're welcome. And thank you for the donation and for supporting me for multiple years now. Okay. Claire says, question is career or family, whatever stands out. And yes, share away. Okay. Thank you. Are you wondering, Claire, like what's coming up? Generally, both. And we have another Gemini moon in the house. What? Are you as chaotic as I am? Do you feel like there is two sides fighting within you all the time? The organized Virgo and, oh, a squirrel, Gemini? Do you feel it, Claire? We have the same sun and moon. So there should be some alignment. You're saying lately, yes. Okay. Well, if it's only lately, that's pretty good. That's been the story of my life, pretty much. Okay. So I have Virgo sun, Gemini moon, Virgo rising. Is this correct? So you're saying career or family? What stands out? So you're about to have an eclipse in your first house as a Virgo rising. You've been having eclipses in your first and seventh houses starting in September 2024. That is potentially bringing a lot of new developments to your relationships, perhaps encouraging commitment, new beginnings in business, maybe new beginnings in the partner's life. That's where Mercury is retrograding right now. Maybe as you're following these new beginnings, there are some contracts, agreements, values that you need to hash out and discuss with your business and romantic and spouse, your partner. The South Node eclipses in the first house, we started having them in March 2025, another one in September 2025, now another one tomorrow, March 3rd. Can affect digestion, as mentioned before, drink a lot of water, but can also suggest that you're going through a personal rebirth. So in that regards, career could be a part of this, because the eclipse is really encouraging you to let go of old roles and shed old layers of skin that no longer feel aligned with you. It's very much about cleansing and purifying, letting go of perfectionism, of control, of analysis paralysis, letting go of thinking that things should be a certain way, right? Virgo has this tendency to kind of purify and perfect, and it tends to have this image of the way things should be, and life can surprise you. So I think allowing room for surprise could be important here. And professionally, I think what's interesting right now is this Jupiter in your 11th house of community and friendships and networks. And I think it might be encouraging you to reach a larger audience, whatever it might be, professionally or personally. It can suggest that there could be a lot of joy from, like, it can also suggest that there could be a lot of help from people professionally. Yes, Claire, Virgo sun, Virgo rising, Gemini moon. It is. And what do you do? What do you do for a living? I wish I was flying, says morning, everyone. I mean, it's nearly 7 p.m. where I am at, so not quite morning yet, but good morning to you. So yeah, Claire, I think a lot of these topics can be coming through at work for sure. You do have the career house with the moon and Saturn. Saturn can indicate strong ambition, but also sometimes a tendency to do work to, like, prove things to someone. There could be a lot of karma around success. The moon can represent certain sensitivity, but also ability to nurture people. The ruler is Mercury in the 12th, so I think it also might suggest that your work involves some kind of, it's interesting because I'm picking up some kind of like nurturing old objects and working, like you could be like a great librarian with this with this combination, like somebody who or somebody who is like an archaeologist, somebody who works with like vintage things potentially. Oh, you're an air traffic control. That's very Virgo and very Gemini. Look at that, air and control and traffic. And you have Mars, the planet of action and movement, in your first house on the ascendant. I love that. But a lot of your work is done behind the scenes, right? Like you're sort of Mercury ruling your house of career is in the 12th house. And so you're like your voice and like your, there's probably a lot of like Leo projects and Leo speaks in the microphone maybe, and there's some kind of like Leoness quality, but it's happening behind the scenes. It's happening in like the smaller room, or there's some kind of privacy there. Yeah, and so let's see, you are 54, correct? 53. So 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53. 53 is also activating the 6th house of work. You have Pluto here. Yeah, what might be coming up with Jupiter in the 11th and Pluto in the 6th are some type of like the energy of giving back, the energy of teaching other people, the energy of rights in your work sector, maybe advocating for some kind of like unionizing, or there might be like some kind of desire to do work that maybe serves and helps people a little bit more involved with people in need. So I wonder if Pluto in the 6th house is like encouraging you to go more in the direction of like even volunteering, even doing some type of like altruistic things can be coming up right now. And how could I forget that Uranus is about to go into your house of career? So what was happening in your career between July 7th and November 7th, 2025? Because Uranus is coming into Gemini for 7 years, starting on April 25th, and then all the way until 2032, I believe. And Uranus in the 10th house of career, it's like, it's illuminating, it's shaking things up, it's revolutionizing things. So whatever got, maybe you've already had a preview or some kind of restless energy in July, August, September, October, early November. The next 7 years will be very much, again, sort of wanting freedom in work, wanting to do new things, bringing technology, AI, spirituality, like new things into your career sector. And Uranus also oftentimes brings up, like, it's going to be trining Pluto in the 6th house. And I think, again, it's going to be asking these questions like, how can I do something of more social, communal impact? You're saying, I got hurt last time it was happening and you lost your medical. Okay, so that's potentially the more challenging manifestation of Uranus, but it could also be connected to the eclipse, because we had the eclipse in your first house in September. So getting hurt and going through sort of physical change could be South Node in the first house wanting you to slow down a little bit. Uranus, I think, in the house of career is more a sign of like time to bring some change and some revolution in your professional sector. Uranus in the 10th house can bring a lot of like professional changes. Perhaps you initiate them. Perhaps you started exploring having a second job and doing astrology on the side or doing something else fun, like starting a business and selling baked goods or something. But take good care of yourself, especially with the eclipse coming up tomorrow. And yeah, think of Uranus as opportunities to like have more freedom, have more originality, and like use technology, use sort of unique ways of expressing yourself professionally. And you're saying that resonates? Okay, makes me happy to hear that. So I think I'm going to wrap it up here, Claire, unless you have any follow-up questions. But that's pretty much the end of the list. So took us a couple of hours to get through the list today. Thank you everyone for being patient as I was dealing with the tech issues with Mercury retrograde. Thank you again to everyone for cheering me on and being supportive. My class starts on Saturday. You can sign up at anastasia.astrology.com. Come join us, come study with us. You're welcome, Claire. You're welcome, Eve Elise. Everyone, have a great evening, great rest of your day, your morning, night, wherever you are located. Thank you, Ingrid. And thank you, Bhavana. Good night, everyone. Or good morning. Okay. Bye, guys.